but there was essentially a beef between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey?
Yes.
Bernie said in the GQ article that when he got Ocean's 11, Steve had reached out to the producers and said he thought he would be a better fit and tried to get the part.
Bernie, felt like he didn't want to do it anymore. He was on his own path, and Steve, so...
When you think of Steve Harvey, you don't really suspect that behind the image of a family man and America's favorite TV host. There's hiding a sinister creature ready to walk on his own friends and colleagues in order to reach certain heights in the show business. But as Steve's D.L. Hughley just said, Harvey knows how to worm his way to success by kicking other people out of his way.
And that was some shit that, you just don't do.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Celeb Live Channel. Seems like there's no more vile and jealous person in the entertainment industry that Steve Harvey and stand-up comedian D.L. Hughley only cemented people's suspicions about Harvey's toxic nature with his recent accusations about Harvey trying to sabotage his friend's career. Apparently, as D.L. Hughley said, Harvey never cared about anything and anyone but his own career, and though while working with another prominent and now demised comedy legend, Bernie Mac, Steve was so desperate to become the best in comedy that he went all the way from partners to enemies with Bernie, and deep inside, he even wished Mac was gone forever.
And I said, come on, God, man, I've been trying to make this dream come true. You done left me out here like this.
Well, you all know that Steve Harvey is not coming from rich and wealthy family, and everything this person owns now is the result of his hard work and talent. However, more of his former friends and colleagues are coming forward to shed more details on the despicable ways Steve had used to make it big. While Harvey is clearly enjoying his current success and position, one thing has always nagged both fans and his colleagues alike: his relationship with the late Bernie Mac. And now, as D.L. Hughley is saying, Steve was even wishing his late fellow comedian the most tragic life finale.
Opportunity he got, but once he did, America loved him, like we all kind of knew they would, and he decided to go a different way.
Steve Harvey is just about everywhere these days via his weekday, nationally syndicated morning radio show, his wildly popular best-selling books, and his gig as the host of Family Feud. It may look like the stand-up comedian is definitely one of the hardest working folks in show business, but in fact, as people who worked with his say, he carries as much poison inside himself as a snake, and he doesn't mind biting those who stand in his way to success and wealth.
If you're when you get a lot of money, you become a big hole.
Harvey and Bernie Mac worked together on the original Kings of Comedy, a highly successful stand-up comedy tour and film, along with two other comedians, D.L., Hughley, and Cedric, the entertainer. While the tour made history and helped all four comedians' careers rise to newer heights, the relationship between Mac and Harvey seemingly took center stage, dogged by persistent rumors that the two men weren't actually on friendly terms. The rumors have circulated that during the time of the original Kings of Comedy tour, there was some tension between Steve Harvey and the late Bernie Mac, and their fellow comedian Cedric, the entertainer, tried to smooth the situation by saying, yeah, I mean, they were the kind of guys that they both alpha males. They just saw it different. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they was able to get through it. Neither of comedians shared any details of the beef between Bernie and Steve until in 2003, Max shocked the world with his tell-all interview to GQ magazine, where he claimed that Harvey was jealous of his rise to stardom and even tried to sabotage certain movie roles that he was obtaining at the time. Now, D.L. Hughley addressed these rumors and confirmed that it's Steve Harvey's vile and predator-like nature that made Bernie Mac leave the show, and apparently, Steve actually hoped that something sinister would happen to Bernie so he could take his place.
Bernie would notice, he's like, well shit, you ain't gonna have nothing left,
Many people agree with the comedian that going behind your colleague's back is utterly despicable, but it seems like Steve was adopted a lifestyle of a parasite, sticking to the mighty and influential person and sucking his vital power. As one person commented, I watched the interview with Bernie Mac, and he did say what hurt him the most was the things that Steve Harvey went behind his to try to take his jobs. It's said and disrespectful. And another user added, everybody back in the day said Steve was a backstabber. Bernie was the man. He was true to the game. Fans long stopped believing in Steve's pretense, and they see right through him. But it's the beef with Bernie Mac that makes a lot of people lose respect for the Family Feud host, because even after accusations in 2003, when Bernie said how Steve tried to sabotage his role of Frank Catton on Ocean's 11.
Disappointed, but I understood that, those kind of things happened.
Steve Harvey didn't attempt to address any accusations because he was apparently waiting for something bad happening to Bernie. Well, making peace with a demised person is certainly easier. And that's when D.L. Hughley realized what a man Steve Harvey had always been. But not only the comedian was disappointed in Steve, many people said the same when 2 years after Bernie Mac's untimely demise, Steve stated that he had made peace with their past issues. He said, I was upset at first because it just wasn't true. Me and Bernie had a lot of good times together, and then this article in GQ came out and put all this vicious stuff in there. B said, I had to take him at his word for it. Bernie Mac passed away on August 9, 2008, from complications from pneumonia due to suffering from sarcoidosis, and Steve used all his acting skills to pretend that he was devastated from this loss.
I didn't really want to do this.
Though some people believe the show, those who had seen the inside of Steve and Bernie's relationships, especially after Harvey went so low as to try to steal the role behind his fellow comedian's back, were saying that Steve was happy to see Bernie go because the path for him to improve his own career was now free of obstacles. And even though Harvey secretly hoped that people would forget about Bernie and crown him as the new king of comedy, he was wrong.
Amazed at just the outpouring of love people still have for him.
Now, Bernie Mac will be forever remembered as a king of comedy. And though he is no longer with us, there are still many things that remind us about his legacy. And I just hope that Steve Harvey doesn't feel jealous of him now, that Bernie's life is over. But see for yourself, guys. The Bernie Mac Foundation was established in 2007, a year before his demise, to create awareness about sarcoidosis. In 2012, the Bernie Mac Star Center at the University of Illinois Hospital Health Sciences system was established. Something tells me that Steve Harvey cannot stand this amount of love and success Bernie Mac has even after being unalive for more 15 years. And somehow, seeing how the public cherished the memory of the late comedian, the Family Feud TV host makes sure he's a part of every single thing that's related to Mac, crying as if he ever cared. Steve Harvey feels now he was a part of something huge and important, while in fact, many people, including his colleagues, say that he's trying to make a name on Bernie's legacy. At some point, in 2016, Steve even dedicated one episode of his daytime talk show to honoring the legacy of the late comedian. Well, many people already accused Harvey of being envious and vile man, but here's another synonym that comes to play after watching him using Bernie's name to his own profit, considering their bitter history, hypocrisy. And for D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey will now forever remain the thief for attempting to steal Bernie's projects.
Nobody ever tried to blow out somebody else's candle to make theirs.
Well, Steve Harvey may clench his teeth as much as he wants, but Bernie Mac will live in the heart and minds of fans forever. Some people even compared the significance of Bernie's demise for Steve Harvey's career with another shady incident, when one's person loss of live helped to elevate the career of another. As one person noted in this tweet, Diddy's wealth started going up since Tupac's demise. The same as Steve Harvey started getting more money when Bernie Mac passed away. Steve Harvey was jealous of Bernie Mac and wasn't getting the spotlight like he was ever since his demise. Steve Harvey on every show. And another user added, never been a Steve Harvey fan. Bernie was that dude and we miss him. Steve wishes he could be as funny as Bernie. He never will. Living in Bernie's shadow. We miss you, Bernie. Rest well. Well, not everyone thinks that Steve Harvey is funny and good-natured man, and even his colleagues are now hinting at his true nature. And what do you think about this, guys? Has Steve Harvey said or did enough to stain his reputation? And will more shady secrets come to light about his attitude towards other celebs? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other videos about the shady things happening in the industry. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I promise to be back very soon.